Snowman Holocaust. A storybook by 5150. Read by Jim Ryan. If you're reading along with us, remember to turn the page when you hear this sound. Gordon the Snowman was having a terrible day. As a matter of fact, this could be called the worst day of his life. The other snowmen in the village were angry that Gordon had prophesied their destruction.
Heresy! Heresy!
The Snowman Tribunal cried as the other snowmen gathered next to the wailing tree, where snowman justice was to be applied.
Gordon!
The snowman leader called out as the crowd stood in silent horror.
You have been accused of the crime of heresy against all snowmen in this village by claiming that we are about to be destroyed.
The crowd of snowmen began to murmur and clamor among themselves.
Silence!
The snowman leader shouted as he raised his sticks above his head.
There will be silence while the accused enters his plea.
Gordon cleared his throat and looked at his former friends in the crowd and at the leader he once respected and almost felt a kinship to at one time.
I plead innocent of the crime of heresy,
Gordon said in a quiet tone.
How can I be accused of heresy when I speak the truth?
He moved his eyes from one snowman to the other.
I saw our deaths in a dream I had. Each and every one of us will die when the light in the sky comes back.
The crowd began to murmur in boiling anger. Gordon shook his head slowly. If his tears had not been frozen, he would have cried for his fellow snowmen.
The great light will come, and the air will grow hot, the green will take back the white, and the gray that is snowman blood will be everywhere,
Gordon cried out.
There is nothing we can do. Each and every one of us is doomed to this cruel fate.
Lies! Lies!
The tribunal shouted.
Once again we hear lies from the coal of one of our very own trusted ones.
The crowd turned to face the tribunal.
Remember when those hooligans who walk on two legs came and knocked poor Jerry down and tore his body apart? There was no prophecy from Gordon when this happened. He did not warn poor Jerry, or Lester, or the three others who were tipped over and their gray exposed to the world,
the tribunal said as their voice boomed loudly.
And do you know why? Because,
the tribunal said proudly,
Gordon the Snowman is a liar!
Liar!
Liar! Liar!
The crowd began to chant. Gordon knew it was no use. He looked at his one-time friends and tried once again to shed a tear, but none would come.
Gordon!
The leader shouted again.
You have been found guilty of heresy, and will serve your sentence immediately. You will be hanged by the neck from the wailing tree until your gray mingles with the white, and the next generation of snowmen come and forget your evil name.
Gordon lowered his head.
Do you have any final words you would like to say?
I will see you all soon,
Gordon replied. And on that cold, gray sky day, Gordon the Snowman was hanged from the neck until his gray mingled with the white. For 3 days he hung from the tree, his body gently blowing in the wind. And then, one day, the great light in the sky returned, and so did the heat. Just as Gordon prophesied, the heat and light began to take a toll on the snowmen. First the crowd scattered. The unlucky ones who tried to escape were run down by the hooligans who ran on 2 legs. The hooligans laughed while smashing the snowmen and throwing their noses to the wind, sword fighting with the snowmen's wooden arms. The others watched in horror as they began melting, their noses falling off their faces, their eyes running down their cheeks. It was a horrible sight. As the leader melted, he turned his eye and saw Gordon slowly blowing in the breeze as his gray mingled with the white and green.
You were right!
He gasped as he fell over. The end. The producers would like to thank the citizens of Snowman Village for providing extras and catering during the recording process. No snowmen were harmed in the making of this presentation. Any resemblance to actual snowmen, living or dead, is purely coincidental and unintentional. When in Snowman Village, be sure to visit the Wailing Tree. Free tours on Saturdays and Sundays.